players are just about ready. Interesting note too is we got quotes from these players before the game started, and Semper's quote for us today is, Semper, is this pronounced Fi? Fi? Semper Fi? I'm always afraid I'm going to pronounce things wrong. Semper Fi, kill the Zerg or die. And Tefels, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. I like it. Both players providing us very nice quotes there. So here we are, spawning in Lilac Crest. In the top left, we have our blue Zerg. It is Tefel. And his opponent spawning in the bottom left, we have our yellow Terran. It is Semper, representing Team Gravity. So we have seen a couple earlier pulls here from Tefel, but not necessarily aggressive early pulls. We've seen him get aggressive in the later game, but he doesn't go like super quick Zergling rush all the time. So that's not necessarily what it's going to be, even with this earlier pull. But again, Semper just kind of doing his normal expand. We haven't seen any proxies yet from Semper, basically. So nothing intense like that at the moment. There is still always a possibility, though. We do have our expansion now down for Tefel. He has taken his second base, now getting his gas as well. Typical builds that we see out of Tefel so far. Tefel will get a little bit of a later scout on Semper. He will be able to see where his opponent is soon, but there's nothing crazy to see either, so Tefel probably not going to miss too much yet. A Reaper coming out is actually rallied across, not across the map, but just over here. Semper, before he sends that Reaper out, probably wants to figure out where his opponent is. But yeah, we actually do have that command center now going down from Semper. Pretty normal stuff. Now getting a Marine, not going too crazy with Reapers here. Semper knows where Tefel isn't so far. At least he knows he's not in the bottom right. We have that quicker factory out again for Semper. He seems to really favor getting that factory out a little bit sooner than later instead of going for more racks anyways. Getting a reactor now on this barracks. Pretty standard stuff that we've seen before from Semper here. We've also got speed, big research from Tefel. He has pulled the drones out of gas. So we aren't going to see anything too crazy again come out of Tefel. No super quick layer or anything. And yeah, so far both players just kind of going into more of a macro game. This Reaper keeping an eye out for any shenanigans. There's that quicker starport again from Semper. He seems to really like to get that out fast, and the tech lab has now been added to that factory. The Reaper knows now where his opponent is, goes and looks for the third base, will see it, and will see the timing of that. And the Reaper, ooh, might fall to that Queen, does manage to get out just in time. The Zergling speed about to finish up also here for Tefel. Tefel getting his lair now. Adding more gases as well. The Reaper gets away just barely again. We do now have siege tanks from Semper. Again, no surprise. We know that he likes this sort of play. Speedling's just kind of taking the tower, making sure Semper's not doing anything crazy. We do know that Semper does seem to favor that later gameplay. However, he does also like harass as well. We know that he can do very nice multi-prong drops. So they're just about to finish now. We, I believe, have not really seen any sort of Roach Warren yet out of Tefel. It's just been Ling so far. The Reaper now comes home, sees those Lings out there. And now we do actually have that Siege Tank loaded up. I think we saw this in Game 1 with the Siege Tank harass. You know, I think it's Trigonal mentioned earlier too. If you've got these two things, which you're going to make eventually throughout the game, you might as well use them for a little bit of harass. We do actually now have our Spire also for Tefl, so Tefl is being a little bit more, he's playing more to the Muta style again. Wings kind of getting to the natural, but don't get much done there. We do have Liberators, one Liberator at least coming out here for Semper. We'll kill a few Overlords, and actually a nice scan there for Semper does catch that Spire, so wouldn't it all be surprising to see a few more Liberators come out. Now it's actually interesting, we do have a Baneling nest. Not surprising, is Ling Bane Muta is pretty common in TVZ, but this, you know, the scout for Semper was pretty good in that, you know, Semper has a feeling of what's going on. That, and this style actually happened in Game 1 of this series, so you know, Semper's probably feeling pretty confident they can deal with this, especially after scouting it so early. 6 Mutas on the way now for Tefl. Baneling speed also on the way. And these Liberators just getting a few Overlord kills in now. This will actually supply block Tefl for a little bit. 2 Overlords on the way, but not close to finishing yet. However, a nice little creep deny there for Tefl as well. The Siege Tank getting what it can. I mean, since you're going to make these, you might as well do a little bit of harass, but uh-oh, the Mutas are closing in. Nice little boost away there. Does manage to save the medevac and the Siege Tank. The turret now just finished right on time for Semper. As Tefl tries to get as much harass in with those Mutas as he can. He's continuing to make Mutas now. We've got 2 more popping out. He is still droning, so he's still getting his economy going, but his Baneling speed will be finished soon too. 7 Banelings morphing in. And he has gotten his 4th base as well. So Tefl also looking pretty good so far. We haven't seen any multi-prong drops yet from Semper, but we know that they'll probably come out sooner than later. Semper seems to really favor these when he knows that Tefl is out on the map and not at home. We do have Combat Shield now coming out for Semper. And +1 air attacks as well here for Tefl. So both players just working on their upgrades, macroing it up. And just trying to get a good army going. Both players just about even at this point. Army supplies are at about 64 to 57, so they're about even here. Semper, he's got his Widow Mines again. These can work really well versus this play style. If you can aim the shots, especially if you can get them really aimed at the Mutas or the Banelings or whatever, you can get a lot done with them. We also have an Infestation Pit coming out for Tefl now. This is no doubt for the Hive, which we'll probably see soon. Hive will allow an Ultraless Cavern to be built, and Ultras with chitinous plating and full armor upgrades are something that no Terran wants to be against. So Tefl, no doubt, ramping up for that style. Indeed, our Hive has just been started here. And now Semper, though, moving across the map. And these Widow Mines trying to take aim there on those Banelings. Tefl doing a very nice job at dodging those, making sure that he did not get a huge, did not lose a huge amount to those mines. These tanks trying to get into a good position here. One thing that Semper, we've seen him do in the past, is that he'll be very patient with getting good positioning. Both Semper and Tefl do a very good job at trying to get great positions for their armies, not rushing headlong into things, but taking it easy and making sure they can get the best position possible, because that can make or break a game. Semper, though, he's clearing out some creep here. Very, very smart move. You don't want your opponent to know where you are, and you don't want your opponent to have that extra speed that creep does grant. A few Marines taken out there, but also a few Banelings lost. And now Tefl moving in. Liberators trying to find a nice position to attack with. The Widow Mines go off, and there is just so much Zerg here. And tanks go down. The Widow Mines go down too, but this is just a lot of Zerg, and the Widow Mine's been picked off too. Liberators trying to get into position. Semper trying to get into a safe area here, making sure that his opponent is forced to attack into liberation zones. Tefl, though, looking still okay. 71 army supply to 61. So Semper is not out of the running yet, but he's still probably feeling pretty good. Tefl is, because he's also got war bases, a 5th on the way. Semper yet not able to expand. However, a nice little drop here combined with Liberators for Semper to just try and do what damage he can to his opponent. Spore Crawl